Sharpening your focus is one of the most powerful decisions you can make for your future, because what you give your attention to becomes the direction your life moves in. Every goal, every dream, every breakthrough begins with a moment of clarity, a decision to channel your energy toward what matters instead of scattering it across distractions. When you sharpen your focus, you take control of your path. You stop letting noise, uncertainty, and temptation dictate your actions. You choose your future one intentional moment at a time. Your focus is like a lens. When it's blurry, even the greatest opportunities look uncertain. But when it becomes clear, everything sharpens. Your goals, your priorities, your purpose. You begin to see what truly deserves your time and what no longer belongs in your life. You start saying yes with intention and no with confidence. You stop wasting energy on things that don't serve your growth, your values, or the person you want to become. With a sharpened focus, life stops feeling chaotic. It becomes deliberate. Strengthening your future begins with the decisions you make today. Small choices, simple habits, daily commitments. When you focus deeply on the present, your actions grow stronger, your discipline grows sharper, and your progress becomes more aligned. You don't need to control the entire journey. You only need to learn how to commit your attention to the step right in front of you. When you master that, your future becomes a reflection of your effort, not your fears. Distraction is the enemy of progress. It pulls your mind in 100 directions and leaves you exhausted without producing anything meaningful. But focus brings power. When you eliminate distractions even lightly, you unlock a level of efficiency and creativity that scattered attention could never deliver. Suddenly, tasks that once felt overwhelming become manageable. Ideas that once felt unclear start to make sense. You create more, you learn more, and you grow faster, all because you decided to aim your attention with purpose. Your future is shaped by what you repeatedly choose to focus on. If you focus on fear, you reinforce hesitation. If you focus on excuses, you strengthen limitation. But if you focus on growth, discipline, possibility, and action, you shape a future built on strength rather than doubt. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to stay focused long enough for your effort to compound. When you sharpen your focus, you become harder to shake. You become someone who follows through, someone who finishes what they start, someone who knows how to direct their energy toward growth rather than waste it on distraction. You build a future that isn't left to chance but crafted with intention. Every moment of clarity becomes a step toward the life you want. Every day of focused effort becomes a brick in the foundation of the future you were building. Your future deserves more than fragments of your attention. It deserves your commitment. It deserves your discipline. It deserves your focus. Because when you sharpen your focus today, you strengthen your future tomorrow. And that future is shaped not by talent or luck, but by the force of your attention and the power of your consistent choices. Clarity of focus amplifies your ability to move confidently toward the future you want because it removes the fog that keeps most people drifting through life without direction. When you know exactly what you want, why you want it, and where you are heading, you stop operating from uncertainty and start acting from intention. Focus is not just about paying attention, it is about choosing what matters most and refusing to be pulled off course by distractions, emotions, or the noise of the world. When your focus is clear, every action gains purpose, every step feels deliberate, and every challenge becomes easier to overcome because you're not moving blindly. You're moving with meaning. Most people struggle not because they lack ability, but because they're overwhelmed by too many choices, too many doubts, and too many competing priorities. When your mind is scattered, your energy becomes diluted. You start 10 things but finish none. You overthink instead of execute. You chase temporary comforts instead of long-term results. But when you sharpen your focus, you reclaim control over your direction. You create mental alignment between your goals, your habits, and your decisions. You stop reacting to life and start designing it. Focus acts like a lens that concentrates your energy into one powerful beam capable of cutting through obstacles that once felt impossible. Clarity also builds confidence because it eliminates hesitation. A confused mind hesitates, but a clear mind acts. When you know exactly what you are working toward, doubt loses its power. You no longer question whether you're capable because the path becomes visible. Each step forward reinforces your belief in yourself. Confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you build by repeatedly choosing to stay aligned with your focus, even when it's uncomfortable. And with each action taken in the direction of your vision, you strengthen your sense of self, your understanding of your abilities, and your trust in your own choices. A focused mind sees opportunity where others see difficulty. Challenges become feedback. Setbacks become lessons. Delays become strategy. Instead of being discouraged, you become curious. Instead of giving up, you keep adjusting. Because when your focus is clear, you're not easily thrown off balance. You know your destination, so obstacles become temporary detours, not dead ends. Clarity turns fear into fuel and uncertainty into strategy. It transforms confusion into direction and stops you from wasting energy on things that don't align with your future. Focus also helps you move with consistency. When you are clear about your purpose, you become more disciplined, more selective, and more intentional about how you spend your time. You eliminate distractions not out of force but out of desire because you know they don't serve your future. You stop comparing your journey to others because you're too committed to your own. You protect your mental space because you understand that focus is your greatest asset. Every day, you make decisions that reinforce your direction. These small daily acts of clarity compound over time, creating momentum that becomes unstoppable. Clarity of focus also invites better opportunities into your life. When you know what you want, you begin to recognize the people, resources, and situations that support that path. What once felt random becomes intentional. The right connections appear. The right ideas emerge. The right habits form. It's not magic. It's alignment. You attract what you focus on because your energy, thoughts, and actions all point in the same direction. Life responds to clarity with clarity. Your future strengthens every time you refuse tea. Oh, let distractions dilute your vision. The world is full of noise, but clarity helps you filter what deserves your attention. You stop chasing everything and start choosing the few things that truly matter. You learn to say no without guilt because you understand that every yes must protect your future. You become the architect of your destiny, building it not from guesswork but from precision. The future you want will not be shaped by talent, luck, or chance. It will be shaped by the sharpness of your focus. When you commit to a clear vision, commit to the work, and commit to the path, you create a sense of certainty that empowers you to move forward boldly. You act with courage because your direction is strong. You make decisions with conviction because you trust your purpose. And as you move confidently toward your goals, you begin to witness transformation not just in your circumstances, but in who you are becoming. Clarity of focus is not just a skill. It is a foundation. It strengthens your direction, sharpens your decisions, protects your energy, and accelerates your growth. When you know where you are going, the world opens up. Your actions become powerful. Your life becomes intentional. And your future becomes something you shape with confidence rather than something you hope for. Distractions weaken progress, while disciplined attention multiplies results because your mind can only move powerfully in one direction at a time. Every time your attention is pulled away, even for a moment, you lose momentum, clarity, and the depth of focus required to create meaningful progress. Distraction is not just the act of looking away, it is the slow, quiet erosion of your potential. It steals minutes, then hours, then days, until suddenly your goals feel distant and your progress feels stagnant. Distractions disguise themselves as harmless breaks, small temptations, or quick detours, but each one drains the energy you need for real achievement. The truth is, every great result is built on the foundation of sustained attention. When your mind is scattered, your efforts scatter with it. You might be busy, but you're not productive. You might be moving, but not forward. You might be doing a lot, but accomplishing little. Distraction doesn't always look like procrastination. Sometimes it looks like constant switching, multitasking, or chasing whatever feels urgent instead of what truly matters. Every time you break focus, your brain has to restart, recalibrate, and reinvest energy just to get back where you were. This mental reset consumes time and willpower, leaving you with less capacity to perform at your highest level. Disciplined attention, on the other hand, transforms ordinary effort into powerful progress. When you train your mind to stay locked onto what matters, you accelerate everything: your learning, your skill development, your execution, and your results. You begin to work with depth rather than surface-level effort. You enter states of flow more easily, where time feels different and productivity becomes natural. Disciplined attention creates momentum, and momentum creates breakthroughs that distraction would have delayed for months or even years. Distraction pulls you outward, but discipline pulls you inward toward purpose, mastery, and excellence. Each time you resist a distraction, you strengthen your mental muscles. You teach your brain that what you're working toward truly matters. You build the resilience required to handle challenges without being thrown off course. You learn to direct your energy and let the world direct it for you. This discipline compounds over time, turning you into someone who can focus deeply, finish what you start, and stick with the work long after the initial excitement fades. The world is designed to steal your attention. Notifications, noise, conversations, impulses, doubts, and endless choices constantly compete for your mental space. But the future belongs to those who can control their focus, not those who surrender it. You cannot create extraordinary outcomes with a distracted mind. Progress requires presence. Growth requires concentration. Success requires the ability to prioritize your future over your impulses. Discipline is not restriction, it is freedom. It frees you from the chaos that keeps most people trapped in cycles of half-finished goals, scattered effort, and unrealized potential. When you commit to disciplined attention, your results begin to multiply because your actions are aligned, your energy is directed, and your progress becomes consistent. You stop wasting time on things that don't move you forward. You become intentional with your choices. You gain clarity about what deserves your focus and what doesn't. Instead of getting lost in the noise, you stay anchored to what matters. Instead of reacting to distractions, you rise above them. Instead of drifting, you drive. Small pockets of focused effort, repeated consistently, outperform hours of distracted work. 30 minutes of deep concentration can accomplish more than 3 hours of scattered activity. This is the multiplier effect of disciplined attention. It's not about working harder, it's about working with precision. When your mind is fully engaged, your actions become sharper. Your thinking becomes clearer. Your progress becomes faster. You start seeing results not because you're doing more, but because you're doing the right things with full intention. Disciplined attention also strengthens your confidence. When you can control your focus, you begin to trust your ability to follow through. You stop feeling overwhelmed because you know how to break big goals into focused sessions of action. You stop doubting yourself because your progress becomes visible and measurable. Each completed task reinforces your belief that you are capable of staying committed, capable of improving, and capable of achieving what once felt distant. Confidence grows. Naturally, when distraction no longer holds power over you, distractions weaken, delay, and dilute your potential. Discipline, on the other hand, magnifies your abilities and speeds your journey toward your goals. When you take control of your attention, you take control of your life. You accelerate your growth, strengthen your focus, and unlock a level of achievement that scattered effort could never produce. The path to extraordinary results is simple. Less noise, more focus, less reacting, more intentional action, less distraction, more disciplined attention. This is how progress multiplies. This is how your future strengthens. Small, consistent actions performed with intention reshape your mindset and your destiny, because transformation is built from repetition, not random bursts of effort. Every time you choose to take a small step toward what matters, even when it feels insignificant, you are training your mind to believe in growth, commitment, and possibility. Most people think change requires massive action, dramatic decisions, or a sudden breakthrough, but real change is much quieter. It happens in the everyday choices, the small habits, the moments when you decide to stay aligned with your goals rather than drift away from them. Your mind is shaped by what you repeatedly do. When you take consistent actions with intention, you are sending yourself a message. This is who I am, this is what I value, this is the direction I'm moving in. Over time, these small signals accumulate and create powerful internal shifts. You begin to think differently because you act differently. You begin to expect more from yourself because you are proving to yourself day by day that you can show up. Intentional consistency rewires your thinking. It replaces doubt with discipline, hesitation with clarity, and fear with confidence. Your patterns become stronger than your excuses, and your belief in your own ability grows as your actions reinforce your identity. These small actions carry weight because they build momentum. Momentum doesn't come from one big leap, it comes from steady movement in the right direction. Even when progress seems slow, intentional consistency keeps you from standing still. Each small step becomes a building block for the next. And eventually, what once felt difficult becomes natural. What once took effort becomes automatic. You develop hobby that support your goals instead of sabotaging them. This steady growth compounds over time, shaping not only what you achieve, but who you become. Your destiny is not determined by wishful thinking. It's shaped by repeated action. Every time you practice discipline, you weaken the parts of you that once held you back. Every time you choose your goals over your excuses, you become stronger mentally and emotionally. Every time you take a small, intentional step forward, you prove to yourself that progress is possible. These tiny victories accumulate in ways you cannot see in the beginning, but their impact becomes undeniable over time. They shift your mindset from limitation to possibility, from fear to resilience, from confusion to purpose. Intentional actions also sharpen your awareness. You begin to notice what supports your growth and what slows you down. You become more conscious of how you spend your time, energy, and attention. Distractions lose their power because you've trained yourself to stay connected to what truly matters. You learn to prioritize with clarity. You learn to stay steady when challenges arise. You learn to trust the process because the process is proven. G itself through your consistency. The beauty of small, intentional actions is that they are always within your control. You don't need perfect conditions, endless motivation, or exceptional talent. You just need to show up and stay committed. And the more you do, the more your identity shifts towards strength, discipline, and growth. You begin to expect success, not as a distant dream, but as a natural outcome of your consistent effort. You start to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who improves, someone who builds the life they want instead of wishing for it. Over time, these intentional actions ripple outward into every area of your life. They shape your habits, your character, your confidence, and ultimately your path forward. The small things you do daily become the foundation of your future. They determine your direction, they define your standard, they create a version of you that is capable, focused, and prepared to rise to any challenge. Small steps performed consistently may seem simple, but they are powerful. They reshape your mindset by strengthening discipline and belief. They reshape your destiny by turning potential into progress. Each small actio. N is a vote for the person you want to become. And when those votes are cast day after day with intention, your future shifts in ways that are both profound and permanent. Your future strengthens every time you choose purpose over noise and progress over procrastination, because every decision you make becomes a brick in the foundation of the life you are building. Most people underestimate how powerful these small choices are. They think their future depends on luck, opportunity, or sudden flashes of inspiration. But in reality, the future is shaped in the quiet moments when no one is watching, the moments when you decide whether to stay aligned with your goals or get pulled into distractions that lead nowhere. Every time you choose purpose, you reinforce your direction. Every time you choose progress, even in a small amount, you strengthen the path that leads to the life you want. Noise will always be there. The distractions, the temptations, the unnecessary busyness, the habits that pull you away from what matters. Noise shows up in the form of wasted time, meaningless scrolling, doubts, excuses, and the belief that you can always start tomorrow. The world is full of things that demand your attention but offer you nothing in return. When you let noise take over, you weaken your focus, dilute your energy, and slow your momentum. But when you choose purpose instead, you reclaim control. You make your time valuable again. You protect your energy. You create space for growth, clarity, and meaningful progress. Procrastination is one of the biggest thieves of potential. It convinces you that delaying a decision is harmless, that waiting for the right moment is rational, that you need more motivation before you can begin. But every moment spent procrastinating is a moment taken from your future. Every delay pushes your goals further away. Every excuse strengthens the habits that work against you. The dangerous thing about procrastination is that it feels comfortable, it feels safe, it feels easy. But it's a trap, one that slowly erodes your confidence and steals years of progress. But when you choose progress, even the smallest step, everything begins to shift. Progress builds momentum, momentum builds belief, and belief builds a stronger future. You don't need to move fast, you just need to move forward. One step forward is always more powerful than standing still. One small action carries more weight than 1,000 good intentions. Each time you act, you weaken procrastination's grip. You train your mind to value action over hesitation, discipline over delay, growth over comfort. Choosing purpose over noise also creates mental clarity. You start seeing what matters more clearly. You identify what moves you forward and what holds you back. You begin to cut away distractions that drain your focus and replace them with habits that support your future. You become more intentional, more aware, more selective about where you invest your time and energy. This clarity strengthens your direction. It keeps you aligned with your goals even when life becomes chaotic. Every purposeful decision you make becomes a signal to yourself that you are serious about your future. You start building trust in your own ability to follow through. You start feeling more capable, more confident, more grounded. And as this trust grows, your future becomes stronger because it's being built on a foundation of discipline, action, and self-respect. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. You stop hoping for change and start building it one step at a time. This is how powerful the small choices are. They shape your habits, and your habits shape your destiny. When you repeatedly choose purpose, you strengthen your identity as someone who lives with intention. When you repeatedly choose progress, you reinforce your identity as someone who takes action, not someone who waits. Over time, these choices carve a path toward the future you want, a future built with discipline, clarity, consistency, and unwavering commitment. Your future doesn't change in one big moment. It evolves each time you silence the noise and return to your purpose. It gets stronger every time you move forward instead of putting things off. It grows every time you choose alignment over distraction, progress over delay, and intention over impulse. When you make these choices consistently, your future becomes not just something you hope for, but something you actively shape, or strengthen, and bring to life.